Laugh Factory Network.
Wait for it. Wait for it. Who am I? You sure you want to know?
What does that make us? Sidekicks?
It's the Trusty Sidekick podcast with your hosts, Jay Washington, Bobby Hill.
What's happening, everybody? We are back. It is episode 76 of the Trusty Sidekick podcast with me, the resident supervillain, Mr. Jay Washington.
And me, your resident superhero, Bobby Hill.
I understand we have been gone for a minute. There's been a hiatus.
Welcome back, homie.
Thank you. I'm happy to be back. I am, like I tell everybody, I am happy to be alive.
I'm glad you're not dead.
So am I.
Came close.
Very close. For those who don't know, unless you've been under a rock or something, back on...
Why would you do that, though?
Why would you be under a rock?
Yeah. If you're under a rock, get out from under the rock.
No, I think you would be under a rock if you live in America in this day and age.
Maybe if you're Mrs. Dwayne Johnson, you're under a rock.
If this is true, you've been under a rock a couple times.
She probably doesn't know what's up with you. So why don't you fill her and the rest of our audience in?
February 6th, man, I had to go into the hospital for what I initially thought was just a sore throat that had my neck and my throat swelled up. Turned out I ended up having what's considered what was called acute epiglottitis as well.
Turned out for what?
Acute epiglottitis as well as an abscess that ruptured in my throat, which required me to have my lymph nodes cut into on both sides and drained out, as well as an emergency tracheostomy, which means I had a hole in my throat for a couple of weeks.
So as a man who talks for a living...
Well, I couldn't do no talking for a minute.
You had a hole in your throat.
I had a goddamn hole in my throat. It was a very humbling experience because I couldn't cuss people out like I wanted to.
You can finally shut the fuck up for a minute.
Man, and a lot of shouts out to all of you assholes who came to see me, who took advantage of that.
I was so happy you couldn't talk when I was there. I was like, oh man, this could be the future.
So many people took advantage of the fact that I couldn't. There's a long list of people I can go down. Bobby, you're one of the main people, man. Thank you for keeping people updated till I decided to say fuck it. I'll post something myself.
I mean, you couldn't post anything the other days. You were unconscious for a couple of them.
Yo, by the way, if you've never been...
If you've never had a tracheostomy, let me tell you, dog.
Yo, let me tell you, son. Hey, son, first of all, son, you get a tracheostomy, my nigga, you're gonna lose weight, okay? A nigga lost 41 pounds.
Holy shit, what a weight loss plan.
Dude, 41 in a week and a half.
Congratulations.
Also, thank you. Also, let me tell you this. If you've never been put under anesthesia for surgery, my nigga, get them drugs. Because...
Get all them drugs.
Because you see, like, yo, they put me... First of all, they gave me propofol, whatever it's called.
Hell yeah.
And I need them not to tell me when they gave it to me.
That's that Michael Jackson
That's
shit.
exactly what they told me. This is the drug that killed Michael Jackson, but you'll be okay.
Maybe you can get a monkey now.
The fuck I want a monkey for? And then it was like, yo, we're gonna give you that. And then they gave me morphine at the same time.
Hell yeah.
So not only was I sedated, I was high.
You know what's better than morphine? Morphine. That's what's...
Nigga, what? Here we go. See, this is why I didn't want to come back to this. This is why I didn't want to. But man, I was so fucking high, dude. It was like I was seeing lights, color, stars. I felt like that episode of Family Guy when Brian tried mushrooms. I was like...
What he's saying is, y'all need to get you an epiglottal infection.
Man. Yo, first of all, people have been asking, how did you get it? I'm like, I have zero idea. Due to the fact that, like, whatever's been going around, it's been crazy.
Kissing babies.
Man, I ain't kissing no fucking body. You know what I'm saying? I remember when I first went in and the doctor, I had my first sore throat and I went to the ER. The doctor was like, yo, have you been kissing anybody or had you been given oral sex? I said,
why are you trying to make me so sad, doc?
Yeah, like, nigga, like, you understand the struggle I've been going through, nigga?
Doc, I don't feel good and you're going to make me feel like a piece of shit?
Or make me feel bad about my fucking life, So, I mean, thank you to the doctors and the nurses who took care of me for sure.
You would have surely died, though, correct?
Had I not gone to the emergency room the day I went in, I would have died, and then nobody would have known why.
Right.
Because my area would have just shut up on me. Yeah. Shut up and closed off, and I'd have passed out and suffocated to death. In
Chicago, you would have died.
Oh, I'd have definitely died at home.
You would have died at home. I mean, in Chicago, either A, you wouldn't have been able to get insurance because California is a great state for that. Yes. Thank God. Or whomever you're into. Also, you would have sat in a waiting room if you could have gotten into a doctor
I'd have sat forever.
I mean, 14 hours, probably, give or take.
Yeah, and
3 hours.
So this is one of the things that really upset me.
Dead for real.
One of the things that upset me, though, when I did go to the emergency room was I first went in, and when I went in on the Tuesday, I went to the nurse, and they're like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, "Yo, I can't breathe." So dude tells me, "Well, if you can talk, you can breathe." I said, "Motherfucker, I know the logistics of it." I said, "I just know how the fuck I feel." Again, by the way,
Yeah. I get the science, dude, but also it feels like I am suffocating right now.
You know, and then the thing is, my voice, I sound like when I talked, I sound like a drive-through speaker that had water poured on it. So it was like, I just,
oh man,
I sounded horrible.
Yeah.
And so, you know, all that happened. But nonetheless, again, fast forward.
I like how they did everything they could to not find out whether you were going to be okay.
So the first time I went, like I said, they checked my throat. They were like, "You don't have strep throat. Here, take this prednisone. You good."
Right.
And they sent me home. And this is how I knew something else was up, because I had some shoulder and knee injury working, you know, different situations from working out a lot. There was inflammation in both. The prednisone took the inflammation out of both of them.
Right. And you were still like, I'm dying, though.
I'm not feeling good.
Benefits of the deal, you no longer have sleep apnea.
Yeah. Shout out to Bobby, who's happy for that.
Shouts out to any couches that Jay may sleep on. Anybody who has been on the road with Jay in the past and was like, I don't know if I could ever be on the road. I like him, but I don't know if I can be on the road with him again because I can't sleep. He doesn't do that no more.
Yo, so for those who don't know, I used to snore like a beautiful chorus of chainsaws and lawnmowers in G minor.
I mean, 5 minutes into a road trip, if you pass out, it's over. It's now like you're competing with what's on my radio.
You damn right I am.
In the past,
I got out so first of all, I get out the hospital February 13th. I had been in the hospital a week in the same room, hadn't left the room. Wednesday, I stay at home. I go get some stuff for my bandages or whatever. Thursday, I was like, fuck this. I'm not staying in the house no more.
Right.
I said, Bobby, we go into this Black Panther Unmasked Studios event downtown LA. And we go. And here's the crazy part. A bunch of people who work on a lot of the various networks, they were like, what are you doing out? I was like, hey, man, let me live.
There's a chance for a picture on a throne. I'm in this.
Let me live. Which, by the way, you need to send me those pictures. You never sent me.
I got them.
I was like, I got him. I was like, let me live. I'm out here with an infinity scarf on my neck, all gauzed up and shit. But I was out in these streets. But yeah, man.
You made it. You made it, and you're alive, and you're gonna have a full recovery.
I'm already. You know what? It shocked my doctor, the nurses and the doctors, how fast I started healing. Which I told them, I heal quick.
Yeah, and you no longer have you're not wearing bandages anymore?
No, not at all. Thank God. No bandages, no the only Band-Aid that I do have is a very tiny Band-Aid on the hole, what's left of the hole in my throat, because it has a scab and I want it to fully close.
Yeah.
So that's the only bandage I have, but I don't have bandages on my neck or anything right now, because everybody is like, yo, you know, how many Band-Aids you gotta wear? You know, you gotta keep everything covered up with dust and everything. And I was like, well, naturally you want to let air hit it in a sense, because air helps to heal it.
Of course.
And so, you know, but let's just get to what we need to talk about.
Yeah, let's get to, I mean, you know, in comparison, I don't know if I've had a couple weeks that were anything like yours. A lot of what I was up to was stopping by your spot, making sure that you were alive and all right, and getting some messages out. We're all alive. We're happy that you're back. Welcome back to the podcast. We hadn't recorded anything without you, so we were waiting for your return. But yeah, let's get down to the business of what's going on. We are, again, a podcast talking about live action Marvel and DC superhero shows and film, and that is what we need to get into. So the biggest news has dropped today. This is hitting everywhere.
You can also you can see all of the news that you have not heard is up on the TrustySidekick.com.
Yeah,
that is one of the things the two of us have tried to make sure we kept updated.
Yeah, although we haven't had the podcast going because obviously one of our hosts has been down, we have kept the website up to date with the news of what's been happening. So the first biggest news, which is out right now on the TrustySidekick.com, Infinity War is no longer going to have a May 4th release.
They have moved it up a week to April 27th.
Yeah, big change.
That is a major change.
Big change. You know, Deadpool is scheduled to come out May 18th, and Solo is scheduled to come out May 12th. 25th.
Memorial Day weekend.
Right.
This sounds like it's more so for Disney to help ride the wave going into Solo more than anything else, because Solo has had a lot of issues between filming, pre and post production, with director changes, script rewrites, reshoots, and everything. So it's interesting to see what exactly.
Well, here's what I see happening. I see Black Panther comes out as a huge success, which we're going to talk about briefly in a moment, right? Comes out as a huge success. Now, what they thought may have only been like a 5-week run, depending on how it would have played out, is now looking more like it's going to be a longer run.
Yeah, because it's going to keep, as long as it's generating money. It's
generating money. So as long as it's killing it every weekend and there's nothing knocking it off its pedestal, it's probably going to stick around till well into this month, if not the start of April, right? And so you're looking at Black Panther being out of theaters for maybe 2 weeks before Infinity War comes out now, instead of 3 or 4 like they originally thought, which means they can ride this wave and they can just keep taking your money, and then it's not going to cannibalize Solo, because now because it comes out a week earlier, all those screens that would have been taken up by this movie when Solo comes out, now they can drop those down a little bit because they've moved it up a week.
Right.
So you want to keep spending money? Here's a new movie. Like, they can just roll. So that way there's less people left that have to see this by the time Solo gets here. Now those people can go back and spend that money on Solo now.
I think I agree with you wholeheartedly on that, but I also think it's that, hey, Disney keeps making movies, please keep going, because The Last Jedi divided so many people, from the diehard Star Wars fans to the new ones.
Sure.
So Solo has already been kind of divisive in the fact that nobody really asked for the film.
Sure.
You never really asked for a Han Solo origin film.
Sure.
And so if you're Disney, how do you piggyback into something that could be considered, for lack of better words, problematic?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And by moving your movie up a week, you allow them, like, this movie everybody's going to go see. Everybody's going to go see Infinity War. Now, when they go see it is going to matter, right?
Yeah.
If you're only 3 weeks into the film being out and Solo comes out, you still got a lot of people who haven't seen Infinity War. They'll be like, fuck Solo, I'm going to go see this Infinity War shit. But if you move it up a week, those people would have seen it a week earlier. And so now you got people who already spend money again, and now they can spend money on Solo. That's what they're expecting to have happen. As a byproduct, it helps Deadpool, because it does the same thing for that by one less week, right? A little bit.
Yeah,
it's not intentional, but that's what's happening.
Well, Deadpool already had caught some side eye because of it moving its date.
Right. It moved its date to be in conflict almost with Infinity War.
Like, you were like running right behind. Like, you would assume that Fox was like,
how much you think Kevin Feige's like, will you let me at these motherfuckers already?
Because it's like, if you're Fox, you're saying, oh, we're going to move Deadpool to May 18th when Infinity War was originally scheduled May 4th. You're like, at what point do you think Infinity War is just going to do 2 weeks worth of box office numbers and that's it?
Do you think the estimates on Solo and Deadpool should change for this?
I absolutely believe the numbers are going to track different. It's going to complete. Speaking of which, we'll talk about later, but how Black Panther's numbers have tracked, and when they originally tracked out and then they just shattered records. We'll get into that in a minute.
A couple of side pieces of note for this Infinity War movie that's coming out. No Sharon Carter in this one, right?
There doesn't need to be.
I wish she would. I liked her. I like the actress. Pepper Potts is going to end up in the Iron Gear again, most likely. There's been some potential shots of it. She admitted on a talk show, Gwyneth Paltrow, that she had to do some CGI work.
So she admitted it on Stephen Colbert. Well, Stephen Colbert got it out of her. He got out of her. Was like, did you wear a suit, wear little ping pong balls, and shoot your hand out? So basically, if you check on the Trusty Sidekick, which we have up, Gwyneth Paltrow is going to become Rescue, which a lot of people have been wondering. We thought that was Rescue in Iron Man 3 when.
And this is how they kicked Don Cheadle out when it's all said and done. They're like, we'll give her the brother, and then.
Yo, man, don't do that. If you kick Don Cheadle out, you better bring Terrence Howard back. Just because I want to hear him say, Tony! Here's
what I want to see happen. I want to see there be like a War Machine and Rescue spinoff film, and it's just Don Cheadle cheating on Robert Downey Jr. with Gwyneth
Paltrow. Yo. And Friday helps him.
And Tony's all mad because he's like, I gave you this armor.
And Friday's actually programmed into the rescue suit, which is the most hilarious shit ever. Also, we're getting a new Avengers Infinity War trailer coming soon. Originally, it was supposed to drop on February 27th, but they pushed it back. Didn't happen. I mean,
the Super Bowl spot did show a couple cool things.
So if you know, again, the Super Bowl it was a month prior, again, literally almost a month ago. But there were different things we did.
That's when you went down. You went down right about then.
Right after the Super Bowl. We did get Spider-Man in his pre-Iron Spider Spidey suit. We got Cap with his Nomad shield. That's the Wakandan shield. And Thor does have his eye patch.
Yeah.
Now, there's been a lot of questions about the eye patch because 1 minute in the picture you do see it, 1 minute you don't. Here's the thing. Promotional photos that were taken for Infinity War did not want to spoil anything for those who may not have seen Ragnarok yet.
And then at some point they're like, hey man, if you ain't seen Ragnarok, that's on you, dog.
It is what it is. So Thor does have his full-on eye patch. Also, there is new things that have come out about in Infinity War. There is a new villain which has been seen. It is one of the Outriders. It's the head of the Outriders. Thor is said to get Stormhammer.
Right.
Stormbreaker. Stormhammer. It's a hammer / axe. So everyone's like, Thor gets his axe. Yes, he gets his axe and a cop and a new version of Mjolnir.
Right.
So in the scene in which we saw in the trailer where it looks like Thor is possibly trying to pull a portal together or pull something together, it's actually said that Thor may be in the process of forging Stormbreaker. So,
which is a cool trick. That's a nice add-on.
Well, now because he is king of Asgard,
right?
He has that.
He's got forging powers.
Because that's what Odin had. Odin forged Mjolnir from the heart of the dying star. So that may happen as well. Also, there's a new Infinity Stone supposedly.
Yeah, there's another one out there,
which is going to be very awkward.
How 6?
It makes 7.
7.
It makes 7.
Oh yeah,
because
it was 5 and then 1.
That's 6 in the gauntlet.
Is it gonna be 1 in the palm?
Well, supposedly there's 10. No, 10 to 12 because there's 2 gauntlets.
Right.
So
it's double gauntlet.
Right.
So maybe the 7th will be part of the other gauntlet.
Which would be interesting if they're going to do that. So that's pretty much right now for Infinity War. Again, April 27th is a new date.
That movie's taking place largely in Wakanda, just so we know.
Well, that's another thing which we'll go to with Wakanda. So the battle for Wakanda, Ryan Coogler has recently been on record saying that Wakanda has its own thing with vibranium.
Correct.
And potentially the Soul Stone is not there.
Correct.
So the battle of Wakanda may be for the Mind Stone that's in Vision's head.
Correct.
So we'll see.
Who knows? It may be, that may be where it ends up at some point when this is all said and done. It may be there for a brief moment, or maybe Ryan Coogler's pulling everybody's leg. You know what I mean?
Who knows? Again, Coogler's.
I'm so excited that we've only got a month and a half to wait for it now.
We technically still only had a month and a half anyway.
Yeah,
but
I'll take the extra week though. I'll take the extra week.
Speaking of Black Panther, we haven't been here. Please stay tuned for our official review. Thank you to everybody who's been asking me about a review. I did not want to do one by myself, so I wanted to make sure I was able to do one with him.
I'm here, motherfucker. With Bobby.
With this one.
With him.
With him. Him down. Black Panther has been shattering records. It's a hit.
Dude, it's almost ridiculous right now.
It is almost at $1 billion in 3 weeks worldwide.
I've seen it twice now.
Yeah, I've seen it 4 times.
Oh, look at you.
Okay.
I got another one coming up. I had to knock out the Oscar movies before I went back in.
Okay, so I'll tell you about my Oscar names when we do a whole nother.
Yeah. That's a whole
Forrest
other
Whitaker
deal.
he did hint that Black Panther would go into outer space and basically send everybody off, which I loved it. I loved it. There's a lot within this film. I will say, now that it's almost 3 weeks past, we can say this. Michael B. Jordan's performance as Killmonger is amazing.
It is. That's a whole other different argument and discussion that will go down.
That's a whole other thing. I love the way they put the black women on a pedestal. This movie was prominently featuring the women. Ramonda as, the Queen Mother. Shuri, Letitia Wright, who is arguably one of the stars.
It just allowed them to shine in the things they can do. You know what I mean? Even less than a pedestal, I think it's more so just let them act as actors in a movie without making it without making it a gender thing really at all.
Well, no, it is a gender. You have
I'm saying they didn't make it there wasn't an open conversation about because I'm a woman. Like,
it
was just accepted that these women are dope and we're going to deal with these dope ass women.
Well, I think it was,
and it's great that they were dope in this movie.
I get what you're saying, but at the same time, it's there's. Most superhero films we see are male dominant.
Of course.
Male driven. Again, the Black Panther's personal bodyguard are an elite squad of badass women.
Correct.
Shouts out to them.
But of course, at no point do they have to talk about that being a thing, right? No one.
It's never.
That's what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying.
They're there. There's no beating anybody over the head with it. No one questions it.
No,
that's what's going down.
I got what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
I got what you're saying. Yeah, completely. Shouts out to Winston Duke as M'Baku because that would be my Halloween costume.
The M'Baku challenge right now. If you haven't seen
There's a challenge.
Go find the M'Baku challenge. Oh, it's so good. And it's just there's no actual challenge. It's just people reciting lines sounding like M'Baku. It's great. There's a couple amazing ones out there.
Man, see now, Nonetheless, stay tuned for our review on that. Ant-Man and the Wasp has had his trailer drop. If you haven't seen it, there's so much great product placement in that.
Yeah, the Hello Kitty.
Pez.
Yeah. How about the way he shrinks the whole building and then pulls the handle out that bad boy?
Yo, the fact they travel with the building and the people around are looking.
It's a great trailer. I'm excited for it because after what happens with Infinity War, I'm sure we will need like a palate cleanser.
Well, I think Ant-Man and the Wasp actually falls in that line of right after Civil War, more so. Granted, it's coming out after Infinity War.
Right.
I think it may fall like right after Civil War, right before Infinity War.
What do you mean after the new Ant-Man and the Wasp movie?
Yeah.
What do you mean after Civil War?
The time.
Timeline. No, I just mean like for us as moviegoers.
Yeah,
it's
okay,
like Black Panther, Infinity War. Give me a little Ant-Man and just calm me the fuck down for a minute.
I got you. Yeah, but I just
need to cool me out for a minute. Timeline wise, it'll be right after Civil War.
Yeah, because the way it's set up in the beginning, like if I called you to need help, would you have been there? So yeah, I think that for sure. A lot of great things were seen in the trailer. I personally like the way Evangeline Lilly is fighting in the trailer.
Yeah,
the Wasp suit looks badass, especially when you hear Scott Lane ask Hank Pym, so you gave her wings? He was like, yeah, and I gave her blasters too. He was like, so you just must.
And he goes, I was at Tech, wasn't around when I was.
Oh, he's like, no, it was. It was.
I think that's great. The work they've done so far CGI wise for that movie looks tremendous already. I mean, it looks super well done. So
the thing with the Ghost, I was confused about that too. I didn't know. I was like, yo, are we revamping the Ghost from the fucking Matrix sequel? Like, why are we doing this? But there is something about it. You have some information on that.
Yeah, the Ghost is going to be played by Hannah John Kamen, who is in Killjoys and was in Black Mirror. Usually, the Ghost is played by a male character. They decided to do something different here. Obviously, the Ghost was first introduced as an antagonist for Iron Man in 1987. It was Michelini and Layton creation. Anti-capitalist supervillain who used their advanced intellect and computer skills, as well as high-tech stealth suit that let them turn intangible and invisible to target the major corporations of the Marvel universe. So,
well, at least they found a villain that can substitute off, because they used the main villain in Yellow Jacket in the first one,
right?
Which I've always had that issue with.
Well, the cool thing about it is that this is a villain who's very much into thievery, right? Like, this is a thievery villain that's someone who's up against corporations. Scott's character is kind of like, a guy who's kind of an anti-corporate kind of a dude when it comes down to it. So I think there's going to be some similarities between these two characters that they've got to try to come up with, and so I think it's interesting. I like the idea of this changing of the character to make that for the Ant-Man and the Wasp movie.
Speaking of which, let's keep going into Phase 4. Captain Marvel. We've seen some of the first pictures of Brie Larson, which a lot of people lost their damn mind a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, just because she had on the original Marvel gear.
You know what? Here's the problem I have with non-comic book fans and these films. I understand you make these films for everybody.
By the way, welcome to the world, all of you who are just now finding out that these movies can be fun and good.
Well, it's amazing.
We know you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, so just calm down.
Especially when it came to Black Panther, it was like, yo, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know what's going on. It's okay. Welcome. You're new. Go do some research.
And please come listen to us. We'll school the fuck out.
We'll break it down. We'll help you out.
But the thing is, with Captain Marvel's first suit, the green and white, everybody saw and they were losing their goddamn mind.
Right.
It pays homage to the original Marvel outfit.
Of course.
You're going to get her in the iconic red, blue, and gold. So calm the fuck down.
Yeah, I mean, all the logo work for the shit is all in the iconic red, blue, and gold. So, like, it's going to get there at some point. Like, they're going to show you the dopest outfit first. It never happens that way.
But, some people just can't handle that.
It never Now, you say she's showing up in Infinity War.
There's a still photo that's been taken with the run scene. I believe it's the running scene in Wakanda.
Okay.
Right behind Black Widow, there is a redhead individual. Now, here's the problem with automatic. There is speculation it's Brie Larson's character. Here's the problem with the speculation behind it. Redhead is also Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, so it could not. But she could be. I mean, they're shooting all those in the same neighborhood, so she could be in the fourth movie. She should be for sure.
She's for sure in the fourth,
and it could be her just shooting her solo film. They're not really. There's no actual knowledge. They did cast a villain though.
They've been cast. They got Minerva,
right?
Dr. Minerva, a Kree geneticist and a spy who crosses paths with Carol Danvers and has the same. She has the same powers. It will be played by Gemma Chan. Gemma Chan from Humans, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, Doctor Who. This is a good casting, and also when you have Jude Law playing Marvel,
right?
You've got DeWanda Wise potentially playing Monica Rambeau.
Right.
Has not been announced. And I forgot who the other one. I think it's Ben Mendelsohn.
Ben Mendelsohn.
Ben Mendelsohn is in it as well.
Yep.
This is a solid lineup.
He was probably playing a Kree.
He's probably a Kree as well.
Yep.
This lineup for this film, along with Samuel L. Jackson, is...
And Samuel L. Jackson. And what I think you may get a shot at seeing Everett Ross in this, like maybe a younger version.
Of course, because this is the 90s.
Right.
This
You
is the 90s.
get a younger version because he's an Air Force pilot.
And by that time, and so is Carol Danvers.
Correct.
So,
I think you'll see some of those. You'll see...
here's a movie that I am really not sure of. I'm not. I'm gonna say it. I've stood by it. I am not on board with this. Some of our listeners may be.
Mm-hmm.
I am not. The Black Widow solo film. It is scheduled for 2020.
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing what the story ends up being if they decide to make one. There's been a lot of talk that in one of these next upcoming Avengers movies that the universe will kind of be shattered into maybe a multiverse, and so maybe the ability to tell a solo story by itself is possible.
I just think I literally still believe that Black Widow is a Kree. Not a Kree, sorry, she's a Skrull.
She's a Skrull?
I believe she's a Skrull.
You think she's a Skrull the whole time? Mm-hmm. Because when they announced this, they talked about characters from Captain Marvel being in this. They talked about Jude Law and Ben Mendelsohn, who are already...
into the Black Widow movie.
Yeah, which is an odd idea. Are they going to play her as a Skrull?
I trust Kevin Feige.
I do trust Kevin Feige. They are talking about $25 million for Scarlett Johansson for this, so how would she turn that down,
What else is she going to... What's she going to do, Lucy fucking Tooth? Because she for sure can't do another Ghost in the Shell movie.
When it comes to what is to come from the Marvel and Fox merger, Kevin Feige is kind of non-committal.
First of all, listen to this.
About what's going on.
Let me say something, ladies and gentlemen. Stop saying that Marvel owns Fox right now.
It's not over yet.
Not own them yet.
In fact, a couple companies are trying to pitch bids.
Comcast is
like a week ago. Comcast was like, "We'll buy that one. We'll buy that." Now they're trying to buy Sky. So it is not a completely done deal. It's going to take 18 months minimum to be able to get this done.
So
18 months minimum, which means a year and a half, which means we're talking 2020.
That means no. I'm telling you more so what that means. Shut the fuck up about the X-Men.
The X-Men are not coming anytime soon. Kevin Feige will hopefully still be with Marvel when the X-Men are available. That's where this is. It's a thing that, like, at some point it'll happen. You'll be like, oh shit, that's right, they own everything now. But there's not going to be any X-Men in any of these movies. They're not showing up in Captain Marvel. They're not showing up in any of these movies. Anything that's on the slate right now is not done.
Again, it's shut the fuck up about because now everybody, because I'll admit I was one of the ones who initially was like, oh, is the deal official? And then they were like, it's not official. When they announced it, it made it seem like the deal was done.
Yeah.
When they made it seem like the deal was done, I was like, okay, we can get a post-credit scene that takes nothing to film.
Yeah.
But then you heard some things are going to happen. And I was like, cool.
And as long as Fox is still in control, they are not giving up shit until they got it.
Which we will talk about in a moment because Fox is out here like, yo, we finna hold on to every motherfucking thing we got.
Yeah.
So
Deadpool 2 did drop a new trailer. A lot more cable-centric in the trailer that was out there. We saw a lot more characters.
Before we go there, let's talk about this. Fox has decided before this deal goes through.
Yeah, because we got a lot of Fox shit to talk about. There's a very big reason for this.
Any and every property in which they own that is Marvel based, they are greenlighting every fucking thing.
Yeah, expect to see either some surprisingly good or god-awful, terrible movies come out.
Expect 9 to 10 Fox-based Marvel movies to come out.
Because they just got to get them out. They got guys they got deals with. Here's the thing. If they don't get these deals done, if they don't get these movies made, there are probably some pay-for-play deals where it's like, if you don't make the movie, or whether you make the movie or not, someone's getting paid. And they're probably looking at the potential loss in that, going, get them fucking turned out.
No matter what.
Make whatever money you're going to make off of them and call it a day.
Which means Dr. Doom from Noah Hawley's supposed to be writing Dr. Doom.
He is supposed to be writing Dr. Doom.
That shit's been fast-tracked.
Probably going to happen.
All of a sudden now we are supposed to get the Kitty Pryde movie.
Gotta happen.
And some people are like on board because Brian Michael Bendis is writing it, and Tim Miller, who directed the original Deadpool, is behind it.
And Ellen Page is interested in it.
I told all you motherfuckers that Ellen Page was gonna want to do this. Again, told everybody like Ellen Page might not want. I said Ellen Page will jump back on board for this.
Should they bring Ellen Page in?
They shouldn't even do this fucking movie.
But they're gonna. Because everybody
keeps saying, "Well, what's wrong with the female-centric character?" character movie. Who cares that much about Kitty Pryde? The films have not given you much to care about her.
The films haven't, but you can possibly do a solo movie that gives her some go, especially with Ellen Page. Ellen Page is a great actor.
I'm not discrediting Ellen Page.
You seem to not want any of the female-centric movies to get made.
I didn't say that. not at all.
I mean, of the ones that you don't want to get made.
Because
I know you got some male movies that you don't want to get made.
You damn right I do. Because I was all behind Wonder Woman from jump. I told you Patty Jenkins has this in the bag.
Right.
We'll talk about Wonder Woman 2 in a moment.
Yep.
Brian K. Vaughan, the writer and creator of The Runaways, is working on the script for the Silver Surfer.
Silver Surfer, gotta get that one in real quick.
Nigga.
Listen, if they do Galactus in any other way other than being a giant, if Galactus appears in any other version besides being a giant planet-eating motherfucker, don't even make it. Don't even make it.
I sat there and I said, yo, why are we doing this? Don't do this. So, also, Deadpool 2 has its trailer. Now, again, we talked about it earlier.
Very cable-centric.
Very cable-centric. I have talked to some people who've done some test screenings.
Shatterstar is in the movie. Terry Crews plays a character in the movie.
I have heard that X-Force is in the movie for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
2 minutes of X-Force.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it X-Force or is it...
It's the X-Force.
Okay.
It's the X-Force and Terry Crews.
It's not Six Pack.
No, and Terry Crews is a member of the X-Force.
Right.
Now.
Which means Terry Crews is in the X-Force movie. That has already started production.
No, it doesn't start till October.
Starts in October.
That is also going... Hurry up and get this shit done.
X-Force is getting done.
Then you go X-Men Dark Phoenix, which comes out at the end of the year. The one that should not be happening.
The one that everybody forgot.
For good fun.
Although they do claim it was a much better set.
I was that made no again.
It doesn't make the movie better, but they are basically saying that without your boy on there.
Let me say this real quick.
Without your boy on there.
If you don't know what we talk about and how we talk, and if you haven't caught on yet, this is the most barbershop talk about comic book films you will ever fucking have. So I'm finna tell you this about X-Men.
Go look up Bryan Singer.
Go look up Bryan Singer and see why this
Bryan
Singer. Why this motherfucker should have been gone eons ago. But
way back when Apocalypse was first coming to Earth,
nigga, the X-Men, nigga, let's go back further. They said it was so much a better set to work on because he wasn't there.
Basically, this dude wasn't on there harassing Kit McPhee the whole time.
He went out and trying to finger fuck people in Video Village, is what you're saying, which is so fucked up.
What a sad situation. No more McTaggart in this new X-Men movie. Chris Claremont says this is the Casino Royale of X-Men movies. So you know what that means?
It's not canon at all because I had people.
Well, I think what he's trying to say is like there was a previous Casino Royale, but the Casino Royale movie for the Bond series that's currently out kind of reset the Bond movies. It kind of was like, okay, now we know what we're doing here. So I would be, hey, listen.
Listen.
Here's the thing.
No.
The X-Men are one of my favorites, so I have to hold this hope inside of me.
Jessica Chastain supposedly isn't a Landra. They're saying she might be a Skrull or Kree or somebody, which confuses the fuck out of me.
She's the Landra. Don't let him
also,
you,
they don't go to space, so...
well, the budget had to get reined in.
So what the fuck?
Maybe they breach. Maybe they do a breacher move.
So I'm going to say this. I'm going to go watch X-Men Dark Phoenix. I am going to go to the theaters. You already know this.
We should go together and then we should comment on it while we watch it. We can't go together. I can't talk you into You're afraid I'm going to talk you into liking the movie.
Nope.
We'll have to go separately?
Nope. Yep, we're going separately like a motherfucker. Because first of all, you already going to tell me, you went in hating it. You didn't want to like it.
I just want to see your face as the movie starts. I want to see whether you're... I'll get up and leave. I want to walk you into the movie and see the movie again, and then I'll get up and go. I just want to see if you're like, I'm in here, snap your ticket off. I'll take this fucking ticket. And you're all angry while you're getting popcorn. You get popcorn, nigga. You get be happy. It's
angry
popcorn.
as shit with extra nut on the popcorn.
Yeah, fucking go. Which I can see you in line cursing out a movie you're about to go see loudly enough that I could be like, this dude's not actually giving it a chance. So I would like to just arrive with you, go through the popcorn line, get you into a seat, and then I would be gone.
That's so fucked up.
That's all I'm asking.
That's such a fucked up.
Is that too much to ask?
Such a fucked up assumption. Such a fucked up assumption. Because
it's very true.
If you thought my reaction was that way to fucking X-Men Dark Phoenix, imagine how the fuck I'm gonna feel going to see Gambit.
Speaking of Gambit, Gambit's back on again.
That's why I brought that shit up. Again, we have constantly talked about how Gambit has been on production, off production. Then it loses its director. Now Fox is like, fuck it, we back.
Anybody, whoever is available, they will have you do it. Gore Verbinski's out. They got to get a new guy in there. June 7th, 2019, they still have that as the release date. You know that is a year and 2 months away, 3 months away? That's a year and 3 months away. 15 months.
For a film?
15 months. They're going to get Channing Tatum acted up in a Gambit... in a Gambit movie. They have a solo movie, written, directed, CGI'd, finished, promoted, promoed, Comic-Con, released, and successful.
You know what's crazy?
By June 19th.
There are people who actually believe this could be a good film.
I want people to be ready for one of the worst 2 years of Fox Marvel movies
of your life
that you'll ever see.
Yep.
These will be the worst Marvel movies that you will ever see. This is like the Bulls playing their last 20 games of the year.
Before Jimmy Butler came back.
No, I'm talking about this year. I'm talking about the Bulls are 20-41. Okay, there's 21 games left. The Bulls may win 3 of them. Okay, that's what you're gonna watch here from Fox.
But Fox ain't finna win.
Fox don't give a shit. One of these movies might be good accidentally.
Let me see which one is on this list.
This is let's see.
Fox's
1,
list?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 with X-Force. That's
8 with Dr. Doom.
8 with Dr. Doom. Those are all $100 million plus movies. They were going to spend $1 billion making movies easy in the next 2 years.
Y'all can believe this shit.
Before they get sold. They have $2 billion movies they're planning on making. Now, are they trying to drive up a stock price for a different valuation, or are they just actually going to make these movies? Who knows? It's a joke. Speaking of jokes, Venom on Sony's side, the last remaining products of...
Okay, I want to say something. You motherfuckers gonna stop hitting me up talking about some you love this trailer.
No, well, nothing happened in it.
I'm like,
the trailer is out. The teaser trailer.
And I'm tired of you just didn't understand, man. They gave us so much in this teaser. What the fuck did you give me but seeing Tom Hardy in 19?
I do want to say this. The last episode that we recorded, we shat all over Venom.
We did.
About what was going on. And then it came to light that Tom Holland had been
filming on the set for 2 days.
2 days, Peter Parker only, from what we understand. We've been told Peter Parker only, no Spidey suit.
No Spidey suit. Which
brought us back to the knowledge that Kevin Feige at one point was very mad at Amy Pascal at one point when she claimed that they would all be together.
That the Spider-Verse
was contained in the MCU.
Right.
And Kevin Feige lost his shit then, but as it turns out, if Tom Holland is going to go beyond Venom, which is supposed to be a pure Sony production, then this means that Kevin Feige is involved in the Venom universe, that the Spider-Verse is part of the MCU as a whole, and that Feige most likely is playing a part in everything going on.
I have to stop you real quick. I got some breaking news.
Breaking news? You have breaking news on the podcast? It won't be breaking news when you hear this, but it's breaking news right now.
6 mystery movies have just been added to Marvel Studios' film slate.
Yes.
So as we know,
I did see that. They just don't have I don't know what they are, so I didn't have the dates. I mean, I have the dates.
I have the date. We're going to talk about this. So we got Avengers is April 27th now.
Right.
Man and Wasp is July 6th.
Right.
Captain Marvel is March 8th, 2019. Avengers 4 is May 3rd, 2019. July 5th, 2019 is Spider-Man Homecoming 2.
Right.
So these are the dates for
Spider-Man prom
sophomore year.
Spider-Man Sadie Hawkins.
Nigga, Spider-Man
Sadie Hawkins.
Enchantment Under the Sea. So these are the next dates. May 1st, July 31st, November 6th, May 7th.
Of what year?
This is 2020.
2020. Now we're 2 years out now.
Right. And here's 2021. May 7th, July 30th, November 5th. And in 2022, May 18th.
Like this planet's going to still be here.
May 6th and July 29th. So if I had to take a bet, every May date is pretty much an Avengers film.
You think they're going to do an Avengers every year? You think they'll put them together every year? I think maybe 2 years after that.
So you think the next one is 2021?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I don't know what other big project they're going to launch at that point, but also by then, if they close out Fox, that deal is over,
that makes sense. May 1st, 2020 is Guardians 3.
Right.
That's Guardians 3.
Right.
July 31st, 2020 is probably Spider-Man 3.
There's a Spider-Man 3 that's got to happen.
Spider-Man 3. November 6th may be your Black Widow film.
Now, Black Panther's got to have a second movie in here somewhere.
May 7th, 2021.
That's 3 years from now.
That's 3, which is perfect time.
I don't know.
Why not?
I think it's before then. I think 2020 is when you get your second Black Panther.
I think it's too early. I think it's too early.
I'd be surprised.
Because they would have to be in pre-production right now.
There's so many films going on in that universe. It's
So
like, who the fuck knows, man?
I just wanted to bring that up. We got those. So Marvel
There's
is
a bunch of new dates. There's
Marvel
gonna put
is-
some. Obviously, they got enough motherfuckers to fill them.
Marvel is like, yo, we can shuffle bitches right now. Yeah.
I mean, there's a second Doctor Strange movie coming.
There is?
Of course there is. Why would there not be another Doctor
There
Strange?
doesn't need to be.
Of course there does.
No.
Of course there does.
No,
What are you
there doesn't.
talking about?
No.
Did you not like Doctor Strange?
Doctor Strange is a hard one, so I understand what it is.
I really liked it.
You were the person that. What movie is that? Oh, let's go back to this Venom film. I just want to give you all this Marvel
There's
shit.
some more information about Venom that we have
Carnage
there.
is in the film.
Carnage is in the movie.
So
Hardy posted then deleted an artistic picture with Carnage, which is like, what are you talking about?
Also, this is something I need to let you know.
Shooting is complete.
Yeah, we already know that. Carnage does not factor into Venom's main narrative, but it instead will be teased in a post-credit sequence.
Right.
Which lets me know they don't have a fucking clue what they're doing.
Because they're going to show the other...
The 5 symbiotes that are created by the Life Foundation are the main bad guys.
Right.
And we've talked about them already. This is going to be a weird film.
This is going to be an awkward movie. Well, here's the thing. I think part of what they're trying to do is to actually make... almost like a horror type of movie out of this. Tom Hardy does not look well in the teaser.
So Tom Hardy
He looks like a guy who's struggling. You know what I mean? Like with everything.
With cancer.
With all the things,
and
right?
Like he smokes a lot. He
looks like he's having a bad time of it.
He just smoking sweat.
And he's not a great dude. You know, Eddie Brock was never a great dude. So like, you know, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
Him and Spider-Man have an understanding, and he goes to San Francisco, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
In Marvel's television universe news.
The TV universe.
So Jessica Jones, trailers for season 2 have dropped. She does get a March 8th premiere.
It does look pretty awesome so far.
So next Thursday, all 13 of Jessica Jones's will drop.
Which we will have something new to talk about with those.
No, we won't, because this nigga we didn't watch 2 episodes.
No, I'm going hard on Jessica Jones.
Because I been watched all 12. And you
trying to close it out on the weekend.
I mean, watched all 13. You be like, well, I only watched episodes 1 through 4. I don't know what the fuck you do.
I'm trying to keep my shit pristine. I got to remember everything.
The Punisher has begun filming its 2nd season. It is expected to wrap on June 20th. Now, here's some interesting casting news.
Yeah.
Floriana Lima, who
Yep.
played Maggie Sawyer on Supergirl.
Correct.
She is set to play Kristen Dumont, a psychotherapist who specializes in treating military veterans with PTSD. Now,
Good casting.
Now, if you remember at the end of Punisher season 1, Frank Castle has been exonerated. He is officially dead, but Pete Castiglione has a life, which is weird because he still looks the same. Josh Stewart has been cast to play John Pilgrim, who's seemingly a calm man with a violent past who decides to bring his skill set into the present.
From Criminal Minds.
Yeah. And the last one is Georgia Wiggum. She's going to play Amy Bendix, a street smart grifter with a mysterious past. Now, they're actually changing this character from her comic book origins to fit into the Punisher story for what it is on Netflix.
Right. She's up from 13 Reasons Why.
Yeah, so they're changing that up. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Now, Dove Cameron is going to play Ruby, who's a young woman with cunning intelligence who has a mysterious obsession with Daisy Johnson, and who also happens to be the daughter of General Hale.
Yeah, she's played a big part in some of the promos recently. The, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. returns on Friday. Everything's been off because the Olympics were around. So
this will be their 100th episode.
This will be their 100th episode. They are currently, another piece of news with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., as it's now syndication ready. They are filming this season as if it is their last. So they are not sure. You know, Disney kind of had to force ABC to take this on for another year. I've enjoyed the show this year, but it looks like they're preparing for this to be its last.
I think there's some shows that just don't, that run their course. I'll be honest. I understand when we're talking about movies and TV shows and comic books, there has been the question of the fatigue, and the fatigue doesn't seem to come from the movies; it comes from the TV shows.
Yeah, the difficulty I think that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. ran into is that as soon as Daredevil was a hit on the Netflix thing, like doing any type of version of watered down hero became a difficult thing.
You made damn near R-rated superhero on a regular channel to watch on Netflix, and then we have to go back to this lighthearted.
Well, the other thing too is like when Jessica Jones drops, like you said, you can watch all that in a weekend. You can get your 12 episodes in, you're good to go. Mm-hmm. With Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it's you got to watch 8 episodes. There's a 2-week break for a thing. You come back in, you watch another 2 episodes. You take a month off for the Olympics. You got to catch when it's back on again this weekend, and you got to watch it for 4 more. Then something else on there. So like 24 weeks of shows is a 35-week agenda to be able to get through a full season of what's going on. And like you said, that does create the being tired factor. I love it. I think it's great. To me, it's just like watching a comic book. For me, it's like if you're a comic book fan and you've bought comic books forever,
you have to wait.
You just got to keep getting issues. You just keep getting issues, and the stories change.
But the problem becomes when you have a streaming service like what Netflix does, when it gives you everything.
Of course,
that's the problem. Like
it makes you very spoiled.
So if Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was to go the streaming route where they just give you all the episodes, the whole season, boom, here it is, I don't think that'd be an issue.
I think if they moved, I would love to see another half season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but on pure ABC streaming, like just to move it to Freeform and put it on there. I would love to see them, like, if they moved it to doing, hey, we're going to do 12 episodes, it's going to be on Freeform, we'll do another 2-3 seasons. I'd be down. I'd be perfectly down for it.
Speaking of Freeform, Cloak and Dagger is going to premiere on there on June 7th, and they just announced on Thursday a new featurette has dropped for them.
Yeah, I watched it today.
There was
it
one
just came out a couple hours ago.
Shows how to get their powers.
Yeah, the new one just dropped today. It kind of shows them in a split screen as they're kind of going through their life or whatever. Mm-hmm. And from what I got from the featurette is they are not really sure about what all their powers can do yet. They're very unsure of what's going on with their shit right now. They both have them. They know that they can use them. But like, there's a scene with the dude with the dude where he like covers himself up with a blanket and then wakes up in a field. So like, he's not really quite sure as to what's going on with his shit. So this season's gonna be about trying to figure out how that plays out. I'm gonna be interested
to see. I've had my.
He's a rich brother. She's a poor white chick.
Which works for me.
It's a nice inversion. You know?
I guess the story works, but also I'm still a little. I don't know. I'm a little conflicted on the whole taking grown superheroes now, returning them into teenagers.
Yeah, it's freeform. It's a good shot. A young adult. They can play with these two.
True.
They can.
Also, have we established what time frame this is?
Not sure where this is going to take place in the Marvel universe.
No,
I'm sure,
right? Because they're in the MCU.
Yeah, I'm just saying I'm not sure where in the universe it takes place. Right, like I'm not sure if it's like
is this the 90s?
Right.
And then all of a sudden they're grown.
That's the thing. If you can probably have this on TV for 5 seasons,
let's stop thinking that way. Let's just stop.
What do you mean?
Because we now think the things that they can do 5-6 years. Let's say this goes 1 season.
Okay.
And the last season we find out this has been a flashback.
The last episode.
Right. We find out this has been a flashback from 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. Now all of a sudden they're getting ready to talk to somebody in S.H.I.E.L.D. or going into the Sanctum Sanctorum. Something like that.
Well, they're not going to jump. I mean, they're going to put more than one. If the show's a success, they're not just going to.
Of course. I mean,
the thing about live action is if it makes money, they're doing another one.
Oh, of course. Speaking of shows that definitely made money that are on their way back, Fox's Legion. Legion was an amazing show. Again, highly recommend you check out the second season.
April 3rd.
April 3rd. Now, here's the thing again. You have to make sure you pay attention.
Legion is definitely a show where you have to go, you know what, whatever is going on with my phone and with my laptop and
it doesn't matter.
Kids, I'm not eating right. I'm just going to watch this show and pay attention to what's happening.
Man, you said I'm going to
stop eating. Turn on the closed captioning. For real, closed captioning will help you.
Will save you.
If you're watching something and you're not sure.
Because you'll hear, so you'll see something that says, da-da-da walks by. You'll be like, oh, shit.
Yeah, it'll tell you what voice is speaking sometimes when you can't really make out who the fuck it is.
Yeah.
I was watching Homeland the other night. Now I know everybody who speaks in the opening of Homeland. It helps out. But that show comes back April 3rd. I'm super jacked about that. The Gifted, that season ended. They had their season finale. That feels like it was eons ago now. If you remember this, they do separate at the end of this season. They're making
a new Hellfire Club.
Yeah. So they're starting a new Hellfire Club.
And they took away Fredericks real quick. They was like, let's get rid of this.
How do you feel about that show? I mean, that's one of the Fox properties that is coming back for a second season. Are you excited for that happening?
You want to know my honest thoughts? If all of the X-Men movies were done like Gifted, we would never have a problem.
It'd be a lot easier, right?
It'd be a lot easier to digest.
Yeah.
This show was very surprising, first and foremost. The pilot episode, it captivated me. I was like, good, this can be good. But then I found myself wanting every single episode, every single week. Again, like we just discussed, I would love to have everything at one time.
Yeah.
But, and granted, now in some cases you can still go back and stream previous episodes. You can't restream the whole season. Mm-hmm. But I loved it, and I was like, yo, I want more of this. When its season finale came, I actually was upset because I was just hoping it was a mid-season break.
Yeah.
You know, I was hoping they would, like, the wording was wrong. Because it's the season finale. And I was like, shit.
I know, right? But it was really good. I'm looking forward to the next season of it. I thought their use of practical effects in it was outstanding. I thought they worked well within the reins of what they were trying to accomplish in the show. They never seemed like they were doing too much, or that they kind of, sometimes you watch a show and you're like, oh, you tried to go further than what your budget probably. You should have just held back just a little bit.
For it to be in the X-Men universe, to not have to rely on anything. Again,
no big main characters other than, like Warpath was the only guy that and Lorna Dane, those were your two main.
And then we told you who Polaris's father was without telling you who her father was. Yeah,
it was great. Didn't have to say the name, didn't, you know what I mean? Like, kept it very clean in that route. One last piece of news for the Disney side of things before we jump into DC. Their streaming service is going to launch in 2019. Yeah,
they're going.
There's going to
Netflix is staying. The Netflix shows are staying.
The Netflix will stay there. So Daredevil, Luke Cage, all those will stay there. The series that are going to be on the streaming service are not going to be rated R. That's not going to happen.
Of course.
Any new series that Disney makes that will go onto a streaming service that is going to be rated R is going to go to Hulu, though. So anything that's R-rated that Disney puts out or wants to deal with and put it on streaming is going to go to Hulu from here on out. So that'll be and at some point they'll probably slowly move all the rest of their shit over there when they get a chance to. That's just how it goes. To the DC side of things.
All right. First of all, before we go to this, I feel like let me do this because I feel like I need to do some due diligence, some cleanup, and some shit like that. I want these movies to be great. I want them to be great. I want them to be as best as they can without rushing them, without bullshit, without hurrying them up and throwing them out, comparing anything else, because that's why we had...
Too late.
Look, that's why we've had some of the mess-ups that we've had. I would love for DC to have everything right, okay?
Do you think they have everything right, Jay?
Fuck no. But I just want to say I want them. Again, I don't want anybody ever saying that I'm a DC hater. I went into Suicide Squad with the highest of expectations. If that don't tell you how the hell I feel about movies, I went into Suicide Squad like this is gonna be that movie that changes everything. I left Suicide Squad walking out like Cuba Gooding Jr. and Boys.
I mean, it did change everything, but not for the better.
Oh, not for the better.
Shazam. We have seen our first picture. It's a rear 3/4 shot of Zachary Levi in the Shazam suit.
What are your thoughts first and foremost?
Well, I would like to say this. I always thought Superman was an alright hero, but I was always a bigger fan of Captain Marvel as a kid. Shazam. I was always a bigger fan. The idea of this kid who was kind of, an orphan, sickly-ish kind of kid at one point could just say these great old gods' name, put it together as one as Shazam. I thought the gimmick was cool. I thought it was a cooler deal than Superman was. I liked the boyishness of it.
Okay.
I am not excited right now. As someone who would tune into anything that would be based on this character.
Yeah, because in our text message thread, you said, he got the hood. You was happy about that.
I was happy about the hood. And the saddest thing is that is the happiest thing that I have to be about. The whole thing. The red it pops almost cartoonishly, which I'm concerned about. I'm very worried that they're going to turn this into a hijinks kind of a movie,
which everybody's saying because everybody's trusting David Sandberg for that. And here's my problem: I get that Shazam is a kid. This is a superhero version of Big.
Right.
I get it.
Sure.
First of all, the suit should not look comic bookish because it shouldn't look like a dude put on a padded suit.
I am praying that they're going to somehow fix that in post. That they're going to soften it somehow, or that the color, like. But I'm worried that it's going to be like when people saw those first pictures of Apocalypse in the Age of Apocalypse movie, and then they were like, no, he's not going to look like that for real. And then the movie came out, they were like, oh, he for real looks like that.
It was like,
shit. So I'm very concerned. I never liked the idea of Zachary Levi for this part. I like Zachary Levi. I don't think he's got the right look for me. He just doesn't. So, I don't know who should be the guy, but he doesn't look like the guy.
I've had my constant pick for who should have played Shazam, and I still stick by it. It should have been John Cena.
I would have been okay with that. I honestly would have been okay with that. I think he would have done a good job. He had the right build for it. He had the right way to play that boyish charm.
That boyish charm.
I would have been willing to see if a wrestler could act. I'd have been willing to buy into his acting ability.
You already do. You like The Rock.
I know he can, but that's how many people are like him.
Oh, okay. I just want you all to know these strong ass microphones. I can hear helicopters chasing niggas.
You can cut that out.
No, I can't. No, I actually can't.
So I'm concerned. Now, here's the thing. Because I like Zachary Levi, it's possible he may do a great job in this, and I may have to eat my words the same way that I was concerned about Chris Evans being Captain America when he got that part.
I agree.
I could see how I could be wrong. I'm telling you. I understand that. I'm not saying I'm right, and I will never be wrong. I'm saying I am not excited about what I've seen so far.
And people are saying, oh, it's just a side shot. It's not a finished shot. And yes, again, let me say this. When we first saw the set photos from Black Panther from Civil War, I was one of the first ones going, oh, please, God, no. Oh, please, God, no. Please don't. We can't do this.
Please don't do
this. I will admit I was one of the first ones to be like, oh, please, God, no, don't do this.
Right.
So I understand, like you said, in post, they can change a lot of things.
Yeah.
But the fact that suit is so padded up, I don't even see any ping pong balls to do the...
I know. I'm worried about that because, his arms look like they are padded, not his actual muscles, which is concerning to me.
And granted, shouts out to my buddy Adam Lavick and different people who were like, well, Ben Affleck's suit was padded. Henry Cavill's suit is a little bit padded.
Sure.
But the thing is, let's just, we give him a lot of shit, and Bobby wants to fight him in the streets.
I do want to fight him in the streets.
Ben Affleck worked his ass off for that role.
Yes, and Ben Affleck looks like a guy who can fill the suit. Right. That suit's padded a little, but also that dude looks like a guy who could fill the fucking suit.
Right.
And also, Batman needs pads in the goddamn suit because he's not invincible like Shazam is.
Right. Also, Henry Cavill's workouts, that motherfucker.
Yeah, want no part of it. Okay. I will say this: they do have a nice supporting cast rounding up. They have Mark Strong in this movie. They've got Ron Cephas Jones.
Hey. That work. I mean, all the casting works. So they've announced his foster mom and things like that. All the different casting announcements, I'm cool with. Again, I just get a little bit worried.
Yeah, now, Marta Milans has been cast as his foster mom.
And they have said, speaking of Henry Cavill, he will reprise his role as Superman in the movie.
I do like the idea of Ron Cephas Jones as the Wizard. Ron Cephas Jones is a great character actor. He was in Mr. Robot. He's been in a couple other things. And This Is Us most recently.
Okay.
But I like Ron Cephas Jones. I think he'll be great as the Wizard. But yeah, Henry Cavill's going to make an appearance in this also, which I think will be important. Maybe give some guidance to Shazam along the way,
which works.
I'm okay with that, and there's a need for that. I think there's got to be something that kind of denotes or at least openly addresses the fact that these are similar characters in some ways when it comes to their powers and their abilities and things like that.
Which I'm like, okay, let's go to this news first. Batgirl news. Joss Whedon is out. And they have also said there's a wealth of women directors who want this film.
Yeah, there's a number. Do you know some of the ladies are that immediately stepped up and said they wanted this film?
Roxanne Gay was one. So
Jessica Ellis is one. She's a 2018 Blacklist feature lab participant. She's currently working on a movie called What Lies West. Azita Ghanizada, Azita Ghanizada. She's an actress who claims she's got a story for Batgirl. Mm-hmm. There's Hope Larson, who's actually currently a writer on Batgirl, which would be great. Worked on I think A Wrinkle in Time, the graphic novel, and then of course Roxanne Gay, who has been.
So here's the problem behind this. They are saying that this is not a priority to Warner Brothers. Now, here's my.
I think that's a mistake.
So here's where I'm torn with this. It's a mistake because it could be big, but also I still feel like you have not established your Batman yet to do this film.
I understand that could be the argument that exists.
That's my argument.
I understand that's the argument that exists, but if Matt Reeves has had the opportunity to be working on Batman since well before this announcement
But also we've had the issue with our Batman not being fucking Batman.
Well, this is a problem though that has already existed in their universe. So what I need to know is, where is Matt Reeves with his Batman film? Because if that's going to drop a year ahead of this Batgirl film,
but you can't do that because we don't even have a.
You can write a movie. You can write a film without having an actor yet, right? Is the script ready? Do you have a script written that an actor would read and say, "I want to do this movie"?
Well, I'm sorry.
Do you have a commitment from somebody?
Rephrase this. I don't know if you've heard this yet already, but I'm gonna say it here on the Trusty Sidekick podcast. We do have our Batman, and you'll find out at Comic-Con when DC drops their slate. They don't let you know it's fucking Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, you'll see that. I mean, they've already got this. So what I'm expecting is some progress on the process, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to see where are we at with this Batman? Matt Reeves should be having this shit going, but I personally think Matt Reeves has too much shit going on.
What else is he doing?
He was involved in Cloverfield Paradox. He's involved in some other. He's got some other franchises he's finished working on.
Please don't burn that.
But he's involved in a bunch of other shit. So
also, let's go to other news. Flashpoint's directors, they've been potentially named. They have not been. They are not official. The directors they are not official.
Come on.
I'm dead serious. They are not official. But the writers from Spider-Man Homecoming have been tapped, but they are not officially the directors yet of Flashpoint. Which sucks so bad for that film.
That movie's not. I mean, they had this dude take over from Lionsgate, who's supposed to be the guy fixing everything going on. And since then, they've lost their director for Batman. The guys from Spider-Man Homecoming that's supposed to write Flashpoint are not necessarily locked into doing it yet, which means you don't have anything there. You're not going to push Batgirl because Matt Reeves apparently doesn't have Batman at a point where you think you could start announcing even one.
The best thing they have going right now is Aquaman, because from test screenings of Aquaman, it has been great.
The test screenings of Aquaman have been great. That's the only thing they've got happening. It's the only movie dropping.
It's a darker film.
Thank goodness.
But because now you're going to show balance, and that's
it is good. You need to have it because Jason Momoa is a very lighthearted type of dude, so you need him in a situation.
And what I was saying about the balance is the balance comes in Wonder Woman, because which we're going to go to. Kristen Wiig is pretty much going to be Cheetah. She's going to play the Dr. Barbara Ann Minerva version of Cheetah. Now, a lot of people have been up and down, back and forth about Kristen Wiig playing a supervillain. Here was my response to it, and I had to explain why. Elizabeth Banks as Rita Repulsa in Power Rangers.
Right.
I understand, as a diehard Power Rangers fan and many fans of the original Japanese version, people were like, that's not Rita Repulsa. She took a new take on it. Now, granted, the Power Rangers movie didn't know what type of film it wanted to be, but she worked out as the villain.
I think that the idea, Kristen Wiig can do all types of shit. I think I'm there for that idea because I think the idea of Kristen Wiig playing a bad guy is a top-notch move. I mean, people get lost in this idea of people who've done comedic shit as being unable to do anything other, which is ridiculous to me, because the ability to be funny on camera so that people laugh at you, to me, seems as difficult, if not more, than having somebody look at you and think you're being serious.
Well, you got to remember, comedians, we are always said, us as stand-ups, we're able to be dramatic because we always play the role. Dramatic actors have a hard time being funny.
Right. And so, I think Kristen Wiig is a great call. She's done serious work before. I think she's a good actor. I think it'd be a great idea. I think it's solid, especially if they build her up to be the type of character that they can. So I think it's a great call to have Kristen Wiig if they can get her signed to do it.
I'm for she's been high on Patty Jenkins' list for the longest. Patty Jenkins has been wanting to work with her, so pretty much that's going to happen.
And if we can get a whole supervillain squad, she'd be a great addition to that too, with Lex and.
But I don't know if we know the time.
Let her stay alive. I know the movie takes place in the 80s or the 90s or some shit, but let her not age. Maybe she's got some skills where she doesn't age.
Well, the Cheetah Power does. One of the funny parts behind the Cheetah Power is going to be it is only supposed to be bestowed upon a virgin,
right?
And Dr. Barbara Ann Minerva is not going to be one, which is where Kristen Wiig's comedic abilities will come in.
Right.
Here's shit about movies that I don't know why we have to talk about. I don't know why it's happening. And I'm talking about the Joker standalone film. Now, I have really a problem with this. Variety is reporting that Joaquin Phoenix is the front runner to star as the Clown Prince of Crime in director Todd Prince's yet unnamed film. Excuse me. Now, this film is going to be the story of the Joker's early rise to power and set outside the same continuity in which all of the other DC films take place.
What's funny is I saw something the other day where Joaquin Phoenix was saying that he was basically like acting like he didn't even realize that he
so Joaquin,
doing this. Like,
so Joaquin Phoenix.
Am I doing this?
So Joaquin Phoenix was being Joaquin Phoenix.
I'm doing this. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The Lobo film. Now, this is something that people said was off the table, but which is weird because the Cyborg film is off the table. Screenwriter Jason Fuchs is it?
Yeah,
Fuchs?
that's Fuchs.
Okay, because I was gonna say Fuchs.
Yep, it's Fuchs.
Okay,
yep,
I'm glad you said. Okay, glad you said it. Where did it go? Jason Fuchs is stated that he hopes to capture the energy of Keith Giffen and Alan Grant's comics, and of course, this Michael.
Please do not.
Michael Bay wants to direct it. I do not.
Were you ever into Lobo?
Not really.
I was never a big Lobo fan. It
I just
seemed
don't
like
want to see a bunch of fucking explosions. That's all I don't.
He seemed like a weird space motorcycle riding dude. It seemed like it was more for like the hair generation. It was never really my cup of tea. It's an interesting character, I guess. I'm not sure why I've not been able to put a movie together yet with all the other terrible shit they've put out. Michael Bay directing it would truly. Can't they get someone who's Michael Bay like Peter Berg? Can they get? Remember Battleship?
So the Superman spin-off TV show Metropolis it's set before the arrival of Superman. I think we talked about this before. It's going to follow Lois Lane and Lex Luthor as they investigate the world of fringe science and expose the city's
I'm going to play Lex Luthor.
Bizarre and dark secrets. So John Stevens from Gotham, Gossip Girl, the OC, Gilmore Girls, and Danny Cannon from Nikita and the CSI series are the executive producers.
Sounds like my type of executive producers.
It is the 4th series announced for the new DC digital service.
This is supposed to be a Gotham-like show, from what I understand, and they've got one of the guys from Gotham executive producing the show.
Speaking of Gotham, real quick, David W. Thompson is going to be taking over the role of the Scarecrow from Charlie Tahan, and the Joker will be revealed by the end of the season. And it's not likely. It's likely it's not Jerome.
Yeah, David Mazouz says it's probably not. It's not Jerome. So I'm interested to see where that's going to run to.
It returns March 2nd, so by the time you guys hear this, it'll be coming back. That makes no fucking sense. You've done all the promos of showing that he's the Joker, but now he's not.
He's not. Maybe he's going to be an inspiration. Maybe his dad show. Maybe somebody shows up. But they have a character in the
Titans. Jeff Johns has revealed on Twitter that the Doom Patrol, the kooky super team where Beast Boy got his origins before he joined the Titans, will appear in their own self-titled episode directed by John Fawcett. Now, Dwayne Murphy is set to be Negative Man.
Right.
Bruno Bashir is going to be the Doom Patrol leader, the Chief. April Balby is going to be Elastigirl, and Jake Michaels is set to be Robot Man.
Yeah, so they're adding the Doom Patrol. I'm not extremely familiar with the Titans. I'm ready to see this show. It seems like it's interesting. It seems like they're casting all types of characters for it, so I'm excited to see what they're doing with it. But
I just want a dark one.
I'm down.
Supergirl news, which probably won't be lasting long. The Omega Underground.
Supergirl won't be lasting long. Why do you say that, Jay?
I'm not gonna go to that.
Do you have some information that we should know about?
There's a potential that this may not be a lasting show. It has not held the ratings. None of the CW Arrowverse shows have currently been renewed, which is a shock as of now.
How interesting is that, huh?
Normally, they all have their renewal notices. None have them.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
I mean, something could easily go to the chopping block here. Do you think that this is due to the loss of
a certain former
the
show
sexual harasser that used to work with them, a certain Andrew Kreisberg?
I believe that, and because he is direct, this is his show.
Yeah,
and you keep paying him.
You have to pay him while this is on,
no matter what.
So the easy thing to do would probably be to remove the show.
It's unfortunate, which will still allow for cameos and crossovers. But Omega Underground has recently discovered an audition tape of actress Sarah Sabalos trying out Sabalos. Yes, I'm sorry, Cedric Sabalos, trying out the role for Lois Lane in a future episode of the show.
So we could see a Lois Lane here. Because again, now see in direct opposite of The Gifted.
you go.
Right, and direct opposite of the Gifted, who didn't have to rely on calling out any bigger players.
DC Supergirl
again,
focuses.
Supergirl is focusing on calling out somebody else that they have in the universe.
In the Flash, Iris is set to be suiting up for a stint of one of Central City's super protectors.
You seen the picture for this?
No, I have not. Thank God. I mean, I have. I'm gonna tell you something. This is something I never thought I would say, and I'm just gonna be 100% honest. With the exception of Legends, these shows have started to let me down this season.
Are you struggling with Flash right now?
I'm struggling with Flash. I hate this. I'm so surprised. I am so struggling with Arrow again because of the way it just left off. I'm struggling with Arrow. Supergirl is Supergirl because I just don't like the World Killers.
Yeah.
They could have been so...
The World Killer storyline has been poorly done this year, for
poorly
sure.
done. You have great actresses. You have great talent to do this.
Yeah.
You could have done this World Killer angle so much better.
I'll be honest, I do like... I have liked The Flash this season. I know a lot of people don't like it. I have liked The Flash this season. Arrow started off and I was pretty excited, but it seemed to... I thought this was going to be a shorter thing than it's been. It's kind of dragged on longer, and now obviously, you know, we're get to the part where we realize Caden James is the one pulling all of the strings and what's happening.
Which was so... Okay, first of all, we did this... For those who saw this mid-season finale or whatever it is, Caden James pulling the strings, cool. Then the whole thing is, the only reason he's mad because he thinks Oliver killed his son.
Right.
Then come to find out it was a setup and somebody set up his son to be killed. And they clearly showed you that it was Elena that
right.
set it up. They clearly showed it was Elena and then went a whole other direction and just let it play out, only to have Caden James go to jail and Ricardo Diaz take over.
Right.
And him kill Caden James in jail.
Right.
With Oliver Queen still being known as the fucking Green Arrow. What are you doing?
Yeah, it's a problem. Did you think that 3 years ago? Did you think 3 years ago that we get to this point and Legends of Tomorrow
is the best fucking show? Absolutely not. Speaking of which, Kenyon Lonsdale Wally West has officially become a full series regular on Legends of Tomorrow. Okay, now if you remember, you saw him.
He started to pop up already in the most recent episode. We'll be discussing all the episodes next week when we're back onto a regular schedule with less news to cover for you.
Now
we're an hour and 10 plus into this one already.
Yeah, which is so much.
We're finally pulling up to the end of it, but we've been an hour and 10 into this one so far.
Here's one of the crates. So again, the Legends are known for meeting very historical figures, which has never been a problem. They are going to meet a young Barack Obama during his years at Occidental College.
Yeah.
Here's my biggest issue. Who do you have playing the stick?
Please, there are some options out there.
Don't fuck this up.
I could suggest a couple.
Don't you have no too light-skinned dude? Don't you have no too dark-skinned?
Get somebody who's played him before. Who is?
You better look. You better put some makeup and do some digital post-production and get Keegan-Michael Key in there, or have Jordan Peele.
Get Jordan Peele in there.
No, you have Keegan-Michael Key just be Luther. Just him go,
Get a boy from Saturday Night Live. Get Fred Armisen.
Fred Armisen. Look, we don't know Fred Armisen's nationality, but that nigga's skin complexion.
Have Fred Armisen play the part, and then we'll have like Jay Farrow do the voice off camera.
Right, we'll make some shit together. Don't you mess this up. And speaking of Arrow, man, my homie Katrina Law, she is set to return as Nissa Al Ghul in episode 16 of this season. Trina, I'm mad at you. You didn't tell me. We need to start talking more.
You've kind of been indisposed. Right?
Kira Sigorsky is set to join the cast as Athena. Now, she's a former member of the League of Assassins.
She was on the show Helix, which was a good short-run show. I like that. It was on Sci-Fi. It was super nerdy. She's awesome, though. You'll like her.
She's going to be a former member of the League of Assassins with a wicked facial scar running across her face, and she's a Malcolm Merlin disciple.
Hell yeah. Malcolm Merlin's got disciples. She'll play a good bad guy.
She'll be dope. I'm cool with it.
You'll like that with her.
Final bit of news we've got, man. Mark Millar, who's written a lot of great comic books. He's the reason we have Kingsman. He's the reason we have Kick-Ass. He's the reason we have what was the other one that we have that's now a property? I can't remember. He's giving a take on Marvel versus DC. Bobby, go ahead and take it.
Yeah. He said that he was talking about the difference between Marvel and DC characters, and he said that the reason why Marvel succeeds and the reason why DC doesn't is because DC characters just aren't cinematic, which is a very bold thing to do. But he says, here's the quote that he says. He says, as a massive DC fan who much prefers their characters to Marvel's, Marvel's Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman are some of his favorites, but he doesn't think that the characters, with the exception of Batman, are based around their secret identity. They're based around their superpower. And so what happens is, with Marvel characters, they're based around the personality of a Matt Murdock or a Peter Parker or the individual X-Men that you're dealing with, right? Like, it's Wolverine, the character, that you're tied into, not the fact that he's got a healing power. That just allows him to be that guy, right? That's how it really works. But with DC, outside of Batman, it's not about that. With Batman, you understand him and you can worry about him because he's just a regular man. But like Green Lantern has the ability to make fucking he can just make shit off his ring. His weakness is yellow. That doesn't play on a screen. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't happen. And that's what he says. In 1952, that made perfect sense, but now the audience has no idea what that's all about. Very Which is, true. I mean, I'm not trying to say he's wrong here. What I've always claimed is that, and I said it in a different way, is that with the exception of Batman, all of the heroes in DC are gods. Yes. Essentially. They're god people, right? Aquaman, the Lord of the Sea. Wonder Woman, the Lord of the Amazon. Superman, really the Lord of Earth. I mean, he's the strongest guy, right? He's the indestructible guy. He's the guy who runs shit. Flash, the Lord of Speed. It's like Batman is the Lord of regular dudes. That's what he's the Lord of, right? They're all their powers. Green Lantern is kind of like the space cop Lord. You know, like they've all got their special thing. They're the champion of cyborg, the Lord of computers. Like they all run all that shit. And so their human person is really their secret identity. And that's I think the point that he's making here. And it's hard to tell a story when, you know, the heroes aren't relatable. With Marvel, all these guys are regular guys that you relate to, or regular women you relate to, who get imbued with something or are stuck with a thing but just want to be normal, like an X-Men character, and that doesn't happen with DC.
Well, you know,
I think it's real.
People have opinions on it. I'm just gonna shut my mouth.
It's one of the reasons why I like Flash, because Barry Allen for most of his life did not have powers. He was a CSI guy, and so he was just a regular dude who got him. That's what always makes him interesting to me, is that a thing happened to him. Right. Something happened that made him that way, but there's a guy underneath that's got a personality and a way of life.
Always parents dying.
Right, he's got a whole story back there that works for him.
This is very true.
That's I agree with Mark Millar in that sense, and it doesn't mean you can't make a good DC movie, but you have to deal with it in that setup. That's why I don't think you can make DC and Marvel movies that are similar, because you're not really dealing with the same type of characters.
Hey man, I'm shutting up because I don't want people thinking anything more than what I get the heat and flack for. So I'm gonna leave it be.
Are you back in full force this week?
I am back in full force, man. By the time you hear this, you should hear this tomorrow morning, right?
Yeah.
Tomorrow I will. Tomorrow morning it'll be ready tonight. Tomorrow evening I will be at the Haha Comedy Club for 8:30 for the All Star Show. That's 4712 Lancashire Boulevard. Monday you can catch me in Echo Park at the Business LA at Little Joy on Sunset. So it is at 8:30 there. Find me on Twitter and Instagram, because I ain't updating my website. They got to take some money out of my account, and need that to come through to get the website going back full. But go ahead and find me on Twitter and Instagram. I will have all my shows posted there. Find me on those where you can find me is Mr. J Washington, MrJaywashington. What about you, Mr. Hill?
If you get this in time, I'll be crashing spicy on Saturday night with Dave Yates. Find his Facebook and find that information, or you can find me on mine at Mocha_Jesus on Twitter and Instagram. It's BobbyHill.com. You can find me at Bobby Hill Comedy on Facebook. You can find the Trusty Sidekick. Did you give that information? I'm high.
No, I didn't get that yet.
You can find the Trusty Sidekick on Twitter at Sidekick Trusty. Trusty Sidekick Pod on Instagram. TheTrustySidekick.com is the website. And TrustySidekick@gmail.com if you want to send us a message or yell at us.
Yeah, so go ahead and let us know everything, man.
Welcome back, dog.
I'm glad to be here. For those who were like, yo, you got your voice, I was like, yo, I have my voice. And I think, look, a lot of people may not be religious, a lot of people may not be spiritual, whatever the case, but I thank God Almighty
thank
God Almighty for this voice. It has allowed me to do what I do, and that is work. It has allowed me to talk to you all and talk to all the people. Thank you to all the new fans who have come over, from those who have seen me on Collider and Collider Movie Talk, those who have seen me on AfterBuzz, Hyper RPG, and so much more. I appreciate you all, even those who check out the Wrestling Compadres. With that being said, we have wrapped up episode 76 of the Trusty Sidekick Podcast here on the Laugh Factory Podcast Network. Network with me, your resident supervillain, Mr. J. Washington.
And me, your resident superhero, Bobby Hill.
Bitches, we are back. We will holler at y'all next week. We had to catch up on a whole lot of news, but everything will be new, fresh. We'll get you breakdowns on the shows as always. We will holler at y'all then. Take care. We are out of here. Peace.
That's what's up.
It is the only time I don't give a fuck. And who doesn't. I just don't give a shit.
We back, dog.
We back, bitches.
Laugh Factory Network.